It's that time of year again. This is a Max Speeding Rods 5 kilowatt one. It's the all-in-one unit, as it's perfectly usable in this. It's not a van, obviously. It's going in my shed, and the exhaust is going to be going out of the workshop. So let's get it unpacked. That's the heater unit, and we have the silencer, exhaust pipe, air intake, air filter, big vent pipe, the heat comes through, and the vent that goes on the end. Their feet for the unit. That's all your Jubilee clips. Got some gloves, power cable, control unit and connectors. There's the instructions, and there is a quick operation one. So you've got a little app, so you can control it from your phone, which we'll have a go at later. And looks like some spare parts and some tools. Let's get the unit out of the box. That's the unit out of the box. That's where your hot air comes out. That's where your controller plugs into. That's where you put your fuel. And that's where your power goes in. And that's where the air comes in that comes out as your hot air, as opposed to the air intake and exhaust for the engine part of it. As you can see, the fuel pipe to the pump is all pre-fitted, so you haven't got to do any of that. And while we're here, you can see the reason why these units should not be fitted direct into a camper van or similar. Because of the way it stands on the feet, these connections for the exhaust is going to be inside your van, and there's always a risk of leakage. You also get a little keyring remote control, which I've just found inside the bag, and a roll of exhaust wrap that was inside there. First job, you decide where I actually want it going into my shed. So I've got the right size hole saw. It's a 76mm one in this instance. I decide where I want to mount my vent, and then I'm going to drill a pilot hole so I can see where it comes out this side. Hopefully it won't overlap too much on the slats. Looks like we should be alright. Inside my little shed in my workshop, you'll have to excuse it, it's a bit untidy. We've got a little telly, got some storage, a couple of drones and a big unit. But if I'm sat here, I've also got a microwave and a kettle. I'm thinking the best place for it to come out would probably be around about there, possibly on the bottom one. So as it's next to where the join in my shed is, and I'll explain how I built my shed at some point, I'll go and check the other side just to make sure it's a good place to come out that side, and then I'll drill a pilot hole either there or there. So yeah, I'll move the battery up a little bit. I'll explain how I'm powering it shortly. I think that's a good spot. You can have it probably there. So I'll drill a pilot hole, drill a 76mm hole, and fit the vent the other side. And just take a couple of screws to do that with me while I'm in there as well. So I've got my little 2.5mm drill bit just to make a pilot hole, just to make triple sure that that's a good spot. That's what I'm thinking. So let's see where that comes out. And that there does look a little high for the middle. So I'm going to try and take it down a little bit and see if we've got room to wriggle room. There, that would be the middle, so we can go down a little bit. So we'll try it. Let's try that spot. And that looks better. So now I'm decided where I want my vent. I'm going to make the big hole. And that's why it's always best to do yourself a little pilot hole and triple check everything. The hole saw I'm using is one of these Bosch. I don't know, there's a fancy name for them. See if it says on here. Power Change Plus, there you go. So you can come in 2 or 3 parts. Usually that drill bit is already in there. That's fixed in place, and then you push it into there. And it's a two-handed job. You pull down on that bit and it clicks into place. So I'll do that. But depending on what you're drilling a hole in, if you're drilling metal, these are very good for that. If you're drilling through a wooden shed, you're pretty safe just using an ordinary cheap one. I can't see many major problems with it. There you go. It's ready to go. That's through. Sorry about the noise. And the dust. You see, that fits there nicely. Now these come apart. You can see there's some holes there. So obviously it's a two-handed job again. I'm going to pull that apart and show you. There you go. That's apart now. So you keep that to one side, clip back in afterwards. I put that in there. And I'm just going to put these tiny little screws in just to hold it all in place. Now you could do a pilot hole, but I don't think it's really necessary, so we just screw those straight in. Must be a knot on that bit. It was a bit easier, a bit harder to put in. Then this just clicks back into place. There you go. The rest of the work's going to be the other side. And while I'm here, before I move it, this is how I'm going to be powering it. You could get yourself a 12 volt, what's it called? Power adapter, something like that. But I've got loads of spare batteries. This is a 12 volt leisure battery off my old boat. It's still got, if I kick both of these in there quickly. .3 volts should be enough to get this thing started. And as you'll see, I've got this connected. That's just one of these little solar panels. I've got a bigger solar panel, I could attach it to it, but we'll see how that does the job. I have an extra piece of exhaust which I'm going to use to extend it. At some point on eBay I think you can buy longer exhaust pipe, so I will thread that around when I buy a long one, but for now I'm going to extend it with another piece of pipe and hopefully it'll go outside. So I've got the exhaust pipe on there. You'll see it's got these slits in it. If you find it hard to get on as well, it almost works like a thread, so you can twist it and it will wind its way on. And it's very sharp on the end because it's just lengths of pipe that have been cut to size. So wear those gloves and be very careful. I've got the Jubilee clip on there. These Jubilee clips aren't the best. if you can, try to get some stainless steel ones, better quality ones. You can get them from Halfords or any good hardware store, possibly even Amazon or whatever. And I'm going to dip that up, put the exhaust outside, and we get some fuel in and give it a try. I've got the exhaust pointing outwards, it's all connected up. I was getting a bit ahead of myself, haven't plugged the power cables or anything in yet. I have put some fuel in it, so let's get those cables connected. Now the power cable has an inline fuse, so if ever the unit stops working, that's the first place you check. We're going to get it connected up. That's the plug, goes in there. Can only go one way. That's in. We're going to run that away from the exhaust over to the battery. And now we just got to connect up the controller module. Controller module plugs in there. As you can see, there's a little groove there, so it'll only go in one way. Lines up with that groove there, so I'll bob that in place. When that's pushed in, you just tighten that up as well. You do get a little clip that goes on the wall, and your controller module clicks into that. For now, I'm just going to have it on the floor here while I'm testing it. We'll fit that later. And I'm going to connect up the power now. Okay, we're having a last check. The exhaust pointing outside. We've got fuel in it, the inlet, and that's connected up. I've connected up to power. The battery's got 12.29. We'll keep an eye on that as the power kicks in and see what happens. So, it's got dusty already. Should be ready to do something now. If you look closely, you can just see it says U12, which means you've got 12 volts.
Start to work.
You see the batteries dip in immediately as it takes a big burst of power from the battery. Interestingly, it says 10.4 volts on there, and it's got 11.75 there, so hopefully we'll be alright. May take a couple of goes for the fuel to get through to the pump, so we might have to do this again in a moment. Okay, we're going again. Hopefully the battery will hold up to it. I would imagine normally they're going to start first go, unless there's a problem.
Start to work.
So you wouldn't have to use twice as much power to get it going. But we'll see how long this one takes as well. Now you can skip forward this bit if you want to, or while we're waiting for it to work, you can click subscribe, it'll help the channel. Got to fit it in somewhere, haven't I? Okay, we can hear the fan running. So that little icon there in light blue, that just means you've got power. Hopefully the little fuel pump icon will come on. I am going to pause it there, and I'll start recording once it's kicked in, because it seems like it might take a while. Oh, okay, maybe we'll hang on. Sure you can hear the pump going now. So, looks like the glow plug's got enough power. Maybe that was a glow plug icon. The exhaust gas is starting to come out. I'm glad I didn't pause it there. Obviously the power there is a bit low on the battery, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug a battery charger into that as soon as I can. That'll keep it topped up, but that definitely sounds like it's running now. Let's go see if we've got some heat inside. We've got warm air, it's not that hot yet. Okay, now it's warm, I can only just hold my hand there. That's working. Let's go back and look at the readings. Battery's back up above 12 volts, which is good. The only thing I've got connected to it at the moment is the little top-up solar panel thing. So yeah, it's hovering around just above and just below 12 volts. I'm going to let that run for a while. When you first start them up, sometimes you get a lot of grey, white smoke. It's nothing to worry about as long as it clears. You can smell the exhaust already, it's obviously really hot. But I'm happy with that. Inside it's not too noisy. If I need to get any work done in here, so that'll be nice and warm when the weather gets really bad. It's handy to do it now. Apologies for the mess, as I said before. I've got a bit of storage stuff in here at the moment. I'm trying to have a sort out in the workshop. As you can hear now, it's getting up to temperature. The power's slowing down a bit. Just click the off button, and it's vitally important you let it run the cooling cycle before you turn any power off or disconnect it or anything, otherwise you will damage the engine. It's air cooled, it needs to cool down properly before the power cuts off. So I've just added this little bit in just before the end, as it's really important. Some point, as the temperature gauge is built into this unit, I'll make a little hole and I'll have this inside. You can control the temperature from inside then better, and you can always turn it on and off with this remote control keyring. And in an upcoming video I'm going to download that app and connect it to Bluetooth and see how all that works, which will be new for me because I haven't done one of those before. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's helpful if you want to warm up your workshop. And please leave us a comment if you've got any questions or anything else you'd like to add. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.